What's up, y'all? It's your girl Cornelia back with another episode of Black News, a podcast where we break down current events, hot topics, and local stories involving Black people. Now let's get into it. Yeah, welcome back. We are here. So yeah, they said we about to be in a recession, y'all. Welcome back. Guess who's back? Me and the recession. Okay, so as you all know, and as I keep saying, but I like to just start the podcast off as y'all have noticed, with just some things that are happening outside of the topics that I have planned to talk about or to discuss. And because this is top of mind, and personally, I don't know how we prepare for this. I thought, let me bring it to Black News so we can brainstorm together. Now, before I, really get into that, let me just shout out the millennials. We are, and personally, I'm an elder millennial, and I prefer to be considered a zennial. But for the sake of this discussion, I'm gonna put myself back into the millennial bucket. We have endured more than our share of global traumas, pandemic. That we done been through it all. Okay, the millennials have been through it all. We are the generation who, I know right now, Gen Alpha and Gen Z, they're technically the group of young people who were like that school shooter trauma group. But baby, Columbine and them was hey, we have been through that. We've been through 9/11. We've been through a 2008 recession. We've been through a global pandemic, war in Afghanistan, two red hat presidencies now. Baby, we done been through the fire, to the limit, through the wall. I mean, we've been through it. Shout out to the millennials because we are clearly God's strongest soldiers. Hey, he got some of us, because I ain't gonna say y'all, because some people be doing wrong. We gonna be the first at the pearly gates. I mean, hey, we are doing the heavy lift. And personally, I don't want to go through it no more. I don't want us to have to experience hardship, but we're here. Okay. Millennials are the group who are dead smack in the middle of all this shit. So with the discussion about recession looming over all of us, I've been trying to think of ways I can prepare. I feel like the difference between now and between when we went to the recession in 2008, we were still fairly young. I know I was in my early to mid 20s when that happened. And if you were deep in stock, I remember I was working in the investment bank on Wall Street. And because I was there, I was hearing chatter about recession and the market crashing. But I feel like I was really removed. But now we older now. We in the conversation up top, especially because of what's currently happening within leadership in America. So I feel like now we can try to prepare as best as we can. Okay. We can try to prepare as best as we can. Personally, how I'm preparing, I have been limiting my spending. And again, I'm sharing this because we got the brainstorm, baby. It's going to be a long road. I've been limiting my spending. I have been and y'all, listen, not to say I'd be just frivolous at the grocery store, but I'd be damn near at this point having anxiety about every dollar that's coming up out my bank account. Okay. How much is this? It's too much. That's an extra dollar. No, put it back. I can't have it. I don't, and no. I've been like careful about that. I have only been daydreaming about the vacations that I want to take. I haven't booked no significant trips. I really want to go to Brazil. Especially y'all, Brazil talk on it's been going crazy. It's been targeted marketing and it's been working because I got to get to Brazil, but I'm not gonna take no trips. I'm not making no big purchases. I want to move into a new apartment. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not doing nothing. I have even bank wise because I've become extremely paranoid about banks and what's going to happen to banks and money in banks. And I don't want to be fear mongering, but I'm just telling y'all my personal paranoia. I've been opening up other accounts. I've been taking out cash and keeping cash on me. I ain't no cash girl, but I've been doing all kind of stuff to kind of diversify and spread out my stuff. People often say, during this time to keep your eye on the stock market because once the market goes down, that's when people last time bought a lot of cheap stock and were able to bounce back once we got out of the recession a few years later. Same with housing. People were keeping their eye on the housing market because once we got out of it, people were buying up homes at better rates than they were before. So it's just a lot of watching, right? But personally, again, I'm just keeping conscious and keeping my eyes open because I think the difference between then and now is, as y'all remember, the stock market and the recession happened when George Bush was on his way out. Barack Obama came in, and however people feel, y'all know I listen. Y'all ain't gonna be disrespecting Barack Obama. When he came in, there was a conscious effort into repairing what was lost, saving the auto industry, all of these things, baby. Ain't Barack and them ain't coming to save us. We got who we got. The people that's getting us into the recession gonna be here for the next 4 years. So it is likely that we won't ever get out that bitch. Just keeping it real. We might go into a depression. We weren't alive when that happened. None of us were. If it's some black news listeners who got some people who survived the depression in their family, they old, and ask them how they survived. Baby, they was out here eating rice only. Hey, we gonna be prepared for it because as black people, we are ready for anything. We have been unfortunately trained in this country to endure hardship. So personally, I think we just gonna find a way and navigate it. But I want to start the conversation with us Black News listeners so we can personally start being vigilant on how we are going to prepare if shit do hit the fan. Okay? I'm open to any tips and ideas of what y'all doing, especially people with families, baby. Y'all, listen, it's crazy. Now, on the flip side, and this is just because one thing I remembered about the recession in 2008, and this is for people who, because everybody coming in a different area, right? Some people doing real good financially or savings wise. Some people living paycheck to paycheck. We got different entry points or different circumstances around this. But I do remember, and this for the girlies who like to shop and maybe got an extra little money to spend or ain't gonna be hit too hard with all of this, and the guys. During the 2008 recession, one thing that I will never forget is how deep the discounts became on luxury items, meaning designer bags, shoes, clothing, you name it. Stores like Saks, Bloomingdale's, Neiman's, Nordstrom, even specifically in the luxury stores themselves, they they were suffering too. They had to get rid of and unload whatever they can. I would never forget. I remember being on I was always looking at the Saks Fifth Avenue online store. And it was a Prada purse. And this, y'all, back product. I'm gonna say the price. Y'all gonna think it's a little bag because right now bags be super little for this price. But it was a $1,200 Prada purse. It was a big bag. I'd never forget this. 1200. It was knocked down to $350. That bag was $350 because we were dead in the middle of the recession. When people were out of work, everybody was on unemployment. It was bad. That's how bad it got. And I always remember looking at that person being like, dang, I don't want to buy it because I don't know if I'm going to have the money. I don't know if I'm going to get laid off from my job. Oh, I just can't buy it. Child, for y'all who be shopping and who got the means. And again, this is on a lighter note because I know I just talked about being in a recession and that is very traumatizing and it could be detrimental to people's livelihoods. But again, for people who doing a little better, that'd be the time to clean up. That'd be the time for them bad girlies. That'd be the time where them bags gonna be knocked down. Okay. It was a pair of Giuseppe boots. I remember it was like $700 Giuseppe's. Baby, them Giuseppe's was like 150. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm just saying that for the people who can shop. Okay. People who got a little money. That's going to be the time where, in addition to buying your cheap stocks, go ahead, get your little cheap Gucci bag. With that, let me know if y'all got any tips or what you all are doing to prepare. Okay, we would have voted Kamala in office. We wouldn't be dealing with this because she was backed and had the support from all of the economists and the scholars who told us that her plan was gonna keep us afloat. Okay, but hey, you ain't want to vote for the black lady. Hit me up though. Let me know what your thoughts are about it. You can find me at Cornelia on social media. So there has been on social media, and it's all platforms. There has been a lot of backlash about Meghan Markle, or now Meghan Sussex, who is the wife of Prince Harry. Y'all know Meghan. We know Meghan. There's been a lot of backlash about her new show on Netflix called With Love, Meghan. Now, whenever you see backlash surrounding Meghan Sussex, formerly Markle, you assume it got something to do with the royal family, Prince Harry. Y'all remember the whole ordeal and everything that happened with that scenario where she married into that family, and they essentially, the family and the British media started to bully her to the point where she was having mental health issues. She was really struggling considering she also just had the baby at that time. It became really dangerous for her. So Harry took him, her, and that baby, packed up, removed himself from that family, and brought his family to the United States where they live in California. They've been getting backlash ever since, child. Harry been suing the British media. He won a lawsuit because the British tabloids were tapping his phone. Like it's crazy. Okay, remember the Oprah interview where Megan said that somebody in the family said, is the baby gonna be black or have brown skin, or what color the baby gonna be? Child, the British media went crazy. So whenever there's backlash, it's safe to assume you know where it's coming from and why. But in this case, people are having issues because she had a show on Netflix. Now, I was planning to support the show based on the fact that I heard, and wasn't a subscriber. She had a blog a long time ago called The Tig, which was a lifestyle blog which focused on entertaining, home decor, recipes. It was just a very high end blog for people who were into those types of things. Very Martha Stewart and them adjacent. She was doing this before she met Harry, okay? Before she even got wrapped up in the royal family. So when she sent and y'all may remember this as well. Remember, she on social media, people started dropping pictures of her sending homemade jam to people. She only made like 50 sets of jam and was giving out. Baby, when I saw the homemade jam, I was like, oh, I got the clock in. I got to see what she talking about because the jam looked delicious. I love me some jam. Okay, you make me some homemade jam, I'm all in. Give me a little English muffin. But what? Okay, we know what time it is. But time just got away from me and I didn't have a chance to watch. But I was seeing the backlash and people were saying it's anything from it's unrelatable. She does not act like black women and is not relatable to including white women, but black women as well. She's fake. This isn't even something that she should be doing. Like, you name it. She was getting her ass handed to her. Simultaneously, there was a large wave of support from black women and from people who are just on the side of leave that woman alone. She seems like a really nice lady. Harry picked her. So I watched the show. I said, you know what? It's time for me to watch With Love, Meghan. And y'all, I don't know what the backlash is about. Like, y'all, honestly, it was a very lovely show and got renewed for season 2. It's renewed for season 2. The show is absolutely enjoyable and lovely. It's different episodes featuring some of her friends or people that she admire in entertainment or in the restaurant space coming to spend time with her in a home. People were dragging her because they were saying that's not her real home. Meanwhile, y'all psycho, and why would she have her real home on camera? Goofy. They're making delicious recipes. She's doing like party favors or putting together gift baskets for guests, showing people how to elevate their home experience, elevate recipes, make simple recipes, do stuff for the kids. She even had one where she pulled out one of them Party City balloon blow up things and was blowing up balloons and getting ready to decorate and like an outside gazebo area. I mean, it's just an enjoyable and lovely home recipe lifestyle show. So, watching it, you immediately know where it's coming from. Okay? It's a couple things it's coming from. And I encourage y'all to watch it because especially if you just like the idea or if you personally want to find ways to entertain better or to make some good delicious recipes for people, it's just nice. Right? She made like this salt like things for like a bath salt bath, like put like aroma in it and salt. It was just nice. So this is where the backlash is coming from. One is just flat out racist. It's just is racism. A lot of the discourse and people being mad about Meghan Markle overall, it comes from and it stems from the royal family and her being connected to that family. Whether people want to admit it or not, a lot of people were upset that Prince Harry chose a black woman. A lot of people grew up with these princess and prince fantasies, and while they probably know in reality that Harry would not have chosen them, it is a complete slap in the face when Harry chooses a woman who was a part of the demographic that you've been taught all of your life is less than. It ruins their fantasy. Point blank period. The way people criticize everybody or everything that Meghan Markle does while praising people who are doing the exact same thing as her, baby, the common denominator is only one thing. It's her race. She got that black mama. That's it. It comes down to this, and it is very obvious, right? It is extremely obvious that that is the point. But also another reason for the backlash, and it's another conversation that we as black people need to have. A lot of people, including us, don't know different types of black people. It is very easy to get caught up or to get trapped in your own world. If you are from a neighborhood or a part of a certain group or hang out with certain types of people, depending on your life experiences, that may be all you know. If you watch TV and only gravitate towards a certain type of people or certain type of show, you may think that is black people and that is a representation of black people. It's the same way back in the day where you would meet or somebody would meet the one black girl who maybe talked more proper than others and people would say, you trying to talk white. No, she talks like a black girl because black girls talk like that. There is no one way to be black. And some of the discourse that I've been hearing or seeing and reading from black people and white people is that they're saying that's not how black people act. We don't do this. She's not doing black things. I know a lot of black girls who make delicious recipes and be using those La Creuset, I think that's how you say it, pots and pans. I know a lot of black women who make their own candles and buy fresh honey, locally sourced honey, and have a garden in the back and pick their own vegetables and only want to make food and prepare food for their families or themselves from freshly grown products. I know a lot of black people who make cute little gift baskets when you come over their house or you spend the night and to make sure that you're comfortable and have the things that you need or things that you didn't even know you needed and that you just want. I know a lot of black people who be making their own parfaits and homemade jam, like homemade bread, all of these things. And so a piece of this discourse comes from that. You need to meet some more black people. Another reason, and before I even get to another reason, let me also just point out even Southern Belle culture, right? Because some people were saying this luxury, this is not luxury, black people luxury, blah, blah, blah. Have you met a Southern Belle? Have you met someone who is really a Southern Belle? I read a good tweet on social media, or a good post where it said they met this woman from the South and they knew her and she was eating barbecue on fine china. Child, people got money and people love elevated experiences. So this idea that Meghan Markle or Meghan Sussex is doing something that is not unique to the black experience it's actually ridiculous. And so not only will I double back on what I said that people need to meet some more black people, child, you need to meet some people with money. Just even a little bit. Or you need to meet some people who like to live as if they got money. Because when you come over their house, they're gonna make you a little gift bag. Okay. A lot of the backlash was also coming from people, and this may not necessarily be relatable to the Black news listeners and just American popular culture, but a lot of it came from people who are just too overly pressed or obsessed with the British royal family. Like, guys, people was she's nothing like Princess Kate. Kate would never do. But if Kate did this, but what about Kate? Y'all, touch grass. There has got to be, like, we need to study certain groups. I will go as far as saying the way the royal family supporters act. Hey, they kind of act like they be wearing a red hat, and like it's adjacent behavior, very chaotic, targeted, very angry, mean spirited, just illogical support that you would use, or they use to justify anything. In this case, something as small as being upset with Meghan Markle because she is on a show on Netflix cooking food. And again, if I don't like somebody, I'm not gonna fool with their stuff. Like, you so mad and you so crazy and upset that her and Harry left the royal family, that you willing to drive up ratings on a show that you supposedly hate to the point where she got a season 2. That's dumb. And I could go on and on and on about this. But the point is, I think that one, if you enjoy any of those home cooking shows, Barefoot Contessa, if you like Martha Stewart, you should watch Megan's show. Personally, again, and I know I've said personally quite a few times, I'm not looking for somebody like that to be relatable. I do not want to watch you doing things the way that I do them. I want you to cook food like a princess or someone who married Prince Harry would cook the food. What do the prince like at his house? I want to see it. Okay? Put a crown on. She need to put the tiara on and cook the food, because it's not designed for it to be relatable for us. At no point in history has anyone said Martha Stewart's not relatable. I don't like her content. No, people watch and fool with Martha Stewart because she is completely unrelatable. Martha Stewart is a non-relatable person, and we love it because she gonna bake them cakes. She going to tell us about the fine linens that we should be using. She's going to tell us about the organic ingredients that she personally sourced from the finest and freshest of farm to table market. Like, that's what we want. And that's what we want from Meghan Markle. So watch with Love Meghan. I'm gonna try one of her pasta recipes this weekend. I will let you know how it tastes. I want to try that cake, but it's just me and I can't eat a whole cake by myself because I'm gonna be fatter than a mug. But hey, I might give it a whirl. Let me know though. Have you checked it out? Have you seen all of the discourse on social media? And will you be supporting? You can find me at Canelia with your thoughts. And lastly, I just want to just send some I just want to spend just a quick moment acknowledging the musicians and our heroes and some of our musical icons that have passed away. Because it seemed like it's been a lot. We always say that, like, it's a lot of people dying. You could come in threes. No, it's Angie Stone, Dwayne Wiggins, one of the founders of Tony, Raphael Sadiq's brother. And I didn't realize Dwayne Wiggins was one of the people who was responsible for helping Destiny's Child get to where they are when they were young. He signed them to his record label. They recorded their first album, a portion of it in Oakland. And he was one of the people who helped them then sign their deal with Columbia. I didn't realize that. I feel like I kind of heard it somewhere, but I did not realize he was that instrumental in that process. Matthew Knowles and Tina Knowles both posted some beautiful stories about how they really helped Destiny's Child in their young years when they were 15, 16 years old. So I just had no clue. We lost Roberta Flack, legendary Roberta Flack, Roy Ayers, the legendary Roy Ayers. Y'all, it's just, that's the thing about creating art that does have the opportunity to go out to the masses. You don't know who you would affect and impact, and you don't know what your legacy is going to be. But when people feel like they grew up with you or they grew up on your music, your art, it affects people when you pass away. And it does leave a hole in artistry, especially when you feel like music and creativity is not as rich as it once was. I think that could be a reason why, too, a lot of people are taking artists passing harder than before in some cases, because it's like that idea of like, but like, really, who gonna carry the torch? It's just tough. And it puts our lives into perspective. Not only when you lose people who are in your actual family, loved ones, close friends, because y'all know this, I've lost more than a few. But all of this puts your own life and your own legacy right in front of your face. And it literally forces you to ask yourself or to do some internal reflection to say, what is my legacy? What am I leaving behind? And was it meaningful even for me? Is it meaningful for me and important? Even if you don't want to think it's important. So just, acknowledging those legends that we've lost and sending condolences to their friends, family, and fans, because sometimes when people pass away that you are a fan of, it can hit like somebody that you actually knew in real life. So just wanted to share that. Let me know, hit me up and let me know if you have any personal connections or personal stories about anyone or just some kind words or thoughts. You can hit me up. You know where to find me. I'm at Cornelia on social media. On this week's episode of Black News, we did a quick brainstorming session about the upcoming potential recession and what are we going to do to prepare this go around. We also spent some time talking about Meghan Sussex, aka Meghan Markle's new show on Netflix titled With Love, Meghan, and all of the backlash on social media that has been happening around it. Hit me up. Let me know your thoughts about all of these topics, some or none, and I'll check back with you guys next time. That's it for this week's episode of Black News, y'all. Thanks again for supporting the podcast by sharing, liking, subscribing, and rating 5 stars on your favorite podcast app. To find more information about me, you can check me out at Cornelia on social media, as well as on my website, which is cornelia.com. And as always, thanks for supporting, and I'll be back next week with new topics and a new episode.